Okay, so this is going to be kind of a bedtime relaxing practice today. And so we're actually going to start standing and then we'll move to the floor. So just come and stand at the back of your mat. And I have Barry joining me tonight, which is fun. But just stand in your space at the back of your mat and just find parallel feet. Just let your feet be about hip distance apart. Imagine you've got like two fist distance between your feet, and there's a line from the base of your second toe to the center of your heels, and those lines are parallel with each other. And then really spread your toes and let them root down into the floor, and just rock a little bit forward and back on your feet. And then you could maybe sway from side to side a little bit. Just really kind of feel your balance and feel some rooting down into your feet, maybe even kind of move around in circles, really grounding into the floor here. And then let yourself just come to stillness and lift energy up from the soles of your feet all the way up through your legs. And so you might engage your quadriceps, lift up your kneecaps, kind of feel like you're lifting through the arches of your feet. And then find some energy of feeling like you're pulling your feet apart without moving them anywhere. So kind of feel some energy of your lower legs pulling apart. And then imagine that you're squeezing something between your inner thighs and then pushing it back toward the wall behind you. And then zip up right where the zipper in your jeans would be. Just kind of engage that muscle in your lower belly. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears, and then let your shoulder blades fall down your back and let your palms face forward. Tuck your chin, let the back of your neck get really long, and maybe rock one ear to shoulder, other ear to shoulder. Just a couple of times there till you're equal on both sides. And then let your chin come to center, and then just lift your chin. So your chin's parallel with the floor. Your ears are stacked right over your shoulders. Your shoulders are balanced right over your pelvis, and your pelvis is centered right over your feet. And then close your eyes. Find all those actions again. Feel your feet ground into the floor, and then energetically feel like you're pulling them apart. And squeeze like an imaginary pillow between your inner thighs and push it toward the wall behind you. Lift up on those muscles at the base of your belly, just right above your pubic bone. And then shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Let your shoulder blades fall on your back. Let your heart feel open. And then stack your ears right over your shoulders and feel all of that energy in your body. And then just let go of any rigidity. So maybe we started with like 80% effort, and then just let go till you're about 40% effort so that you're just relaxed here, perfectly balanced. One foot to the other, pelvis centered over your feet, shoulders centered over your pelvis, skull centered over your shoulders. Relax your hands a little bit, but let your heart stay open. And then really bring some awareness to your breath. Just notice how deep it wants to go in your body. You don't need to do anything to change it yet, just feel it. And see if you can invite it to come in and out of your nose. Let your belly expand with your inhale. And let your rib cage draw in with your exhale. And then start to feel like you're breathing up from the soles of your feet. So as you inhale, just imagine that you have energy drawing from your feet all the way up through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, everything settles back down into your feet. Just really follow that energetic flow from your feet up through the crown of your head as you inhale, and then from the crown of your head all the way down into the floor as you exhale. And take one more full round of breath here. We'll start to bring some movement. You can keep your eyes closed or just really softly open them. Let your focus be really soft. And inhale, sweep your arms up. Maybe look up at your hands. And then exhale, just bring your hands back down by your sides. Really explore the range of motion in your shoulders. And we'll just keep breathing there, just moving arms. Inhale and reach up. And then exhale down. And one more there. Inhale and reach up. Exhale your hands down. Leave them there. Take a breath in. And then with your exhale, let your chin tuck down, and then just let your spine start to round forward one vertebrae at a time. Really slowly soften through your knees, like bend through your rib cage, and then start bending through your belly, your lower back. And then you can start to bend at your hip crease and just come down into a forward fold where you're really just kind of hanging here like a rag doll with really soft bent knees. And then push into your feet, let your knees be bent. And with an inhale, just stack yourself back up one vertebrae at a time. So think about pointing your sitting bones toward the floor, let your pelvis come upright, and then just one vertebrae at a time. Your lower spine stacks, your rib cage stacks up. You can shrug your shoulders up towards your ears as you come up. Let your heart open as your shoulder blades come on your back. And we'll do that a few more times. So just let your chin tuck and just breathe naturally through this process. It might take several breaths to get down, but really think about bending each vertebrae on its own. It's not going to happen super smoothly, but you might start to get some awareness of the parts of your spine that you're really aware of and able to articulate intentionally, and the parts of your spine that want to just move in one piece that might be a little harder for you to access. And that's just really helpful information. Once you get down, you can just pause briefly and then just start rolling yourself back up. Just really slowly. And then we'll do one more. Just tuck your chin. Start to round your upper spine. And spend some time like really thinking one vertebrae at a time in that upper spine. Find some space between your shoulder blades. Stretch through the back of your rib cage, and then really draw your belly button back towards your spine as you roll through your lower back. Engage your belly muscles to protect your lower back. Bend into your knees as you lower down. And then just let yourself hang. You might even sway from side to side a little bit this time that we're down here. You can twist a little bit. Let your arms just kind of hang. Make your way to center. Bend your knees enough that you can bring your hands flat to the floor. And then just one handprint at a time, we're going to walk our hands forward into a plank. So you'll just come forward to the top of a push-up and just pause there briefly. Zip up those lower belly muscles. Kind of feel like you're shortening the space between your lowest ribs and the top of your pelvis on your front body. And then you can bring your knees down or leave them up and just lower all the way down onto the floor. You're going to take your right hand up toward the top corner of your mat and your left hand down alongside your lowest rib. So palms are on the floor. Push into your hands, lift up, and turn your head to look over your left shoulder. Kind of look back at your left foot and then lower down. And we're just going to go back and forth. So left hand comes forward, right hand comes back alongside your ribs. Push into your hands, look over your right shoulder. We'll go back and forth one more time. Right hand forward, left hand back alongside those left ribs. Lift up and look over your shoulder and lower. And then other side, left hand forward, right hand back. Look over that right shoulder and lower. Push yourself up to hands and knees, and then make your way into child's pose. So that's hips to heels. Find a place to rest your forehead. So that might be the floor. Maybe it's an elbow to the floor and a hand to your forehead. Maybe it's stacked fists, stacked hands, or the floor. And connect to your breath again here. Really feel your belly expand against your thighs. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Kind of rock forward so you can tuck your toes. And then push into your hands. Just lift your knees, bring your heels toward the floor, and find yourself back in that forward fold. Let your knees be bent. And then roll yourself back up to standing. Inhale and reach your arms high. And then exhale to interlace your hands behind your back. With your elbows bent, I'm just going to show you. Draw your elbows toward each other like you're squeezing a beach ball behind your back. Keep your elbows bent and then bring your hands away from your sacrum. And if you're just like grabbing fingers, that's totally fine. You could even hold on to your shirt if your hands don't want to hold each other. And then from there, you can bring your arms towards straight. Open through your chest. Soften through your knees and then let yourself fold forward over your legs. And you can bend deeply into your right knee and then kind of twist your chest over to your left. And then come back through center, bend deeply into your left knee, kind of straighten through your right leg. Twist your chest over to your right. And then come through center. Release your hands. And then roll yourself up to standing again. Open your arms wide, just open through your chest. And then cross your right elbow underneath your left to give yourself a big hug. And then from here, we're just gonna make some circles with our upper spine. So I want you to lean over to your left and then lean back a little bit, lean over to your right, and then really round your upper spine, tuck your chin. So it's just isolated in your rib cage, just roll around. And then come to center, open your arms wide again, and cross your other elbow underneath, so left elbow underneath, and then switch to the direction. So lean over to your right, lean forward, lean to the side, and lean back. And let your head get into this motion any way that feels good. Just kind of rolling around. And really think of isolating the circle just in your upper back. When you find yourself upright, go ahead and release your arms. Inhale and reach high. Exhale, interlace your hands behind your back again and see if you can have the awkward thumb on top. Draw those bent elbows toward each other. And then maybe bring your arms towards straight. Soften into your knees and then fold. You can bring your belly onto your thighs. Let your head hang. And then you can open your shoulders any way that feels friendly for you and rock around here. So if you liked those twists the first time, you can bend into that right knee, straighten through your left and rock your hands over to your right. And then the other way. Come back through center, release your hands, and we'll walk into a plank again. So just bend your knees enough that your hands can come to the floor and just slowly walk your hands till you get onto a plank. And then from here, just lift our hips up and back into a downward facing dog. So you're an upside down V. And look back at your feet and just let your heels completely disappear behind your toes. You're really making your feet parallel with each other. And then find some external rotation of your upper arm. So think about pointing your elbow creases up toward the ceiling and draw your outer triceps toward each other. Feel like you're squeezing your hands toward each other without moving them anywhere. And then your front lower ribs, kind of draw them toward each other and engage your belly gently. Push into your hands and see how much longer you can get through your outer armpits. So think of one long line from your pinky fingernails up through your hip creases. Just stretch your side ribs. And then bring your knees to the floor. Push yourself back into a child's pose. If your forehead comes to the floor, you can bring your hands together in a prayer and then bend your elbows and bring those prayer hands back behind your neck. And really push into your elbows and stretch through your outer triceps and armpits. And I always find it necessary to kind of wiggle my bum here. I don't know why. It just feels good. I get a little more stretch on one side, a little more stretch on the other. And then release your arms forward. We'll slide all the way onto our bellies in a Sphinx pose. So elbows underneath your shoulders. Arms are like a number 11 here. And I want you to feel like you're dragging your elbows towards your hips without moving them anywhere, and lift long. And then let your shoulders shrug up toward your ears. So you can be like a little turtle here, Barry. Just kind of let yourself sink down and slide your elbows forward a little more. Yeah, that looks good. Push into your elbows and lengthen up. And let your neck go get a little bit longer. Yeah. And then shrug those shoulders up towards your ears, kind of sink down. And then push into your elbows and let yourself get longer. So just do that a few more times. You're like a little turtle sucking your neck into your shell. And then push and get longer. Then let yourself kind of sink down one more time. And find a place right in the middle of those two extremes. Again, feel like you're dragging your elbows back without moving them anywhere and really drawing your sternum forward. So think of that breastbone, the connector of all your ribs. Draw your shoulder blades together on your back and let the back of your neck get long. And think of drawing your ears back over your shoulders. And then relax all that effort. Just tuck your chin and let your head hang here. Just let your head hang forward and breathe some length. So still push into your elbows a little bit, but take a few breaths and let your neck relax and your head just hang. And then round your upper spine even more. You can really engage your belly and kind of lift your belly up off the floor, tuck your chin even more. And then relax your belly to the floor, lift your head and look forward. And we'll move there with our breath. So as you exhale, just let your head hang down, round your upper spine. As you inhale, let your belly come down and look forward. And just do one more of those. Come back upright. And we're going to do a stretch of our chest. So sometimes it's hard to see. Hopefully you can. We're going to take our right arm. You're going to make it a 90-degree angle on the floor. So your elbow's in line with your shoulder and your hand. Really flex your hand and bring it to the floor. And then you'll bring your right cheek to the floor and look to your left. You can bring your left hand just kind of on the floor next to your chest on the left side. And then you'll roll onto your right hip and let your right shoulder kind of stay toward the floor. Keep your head on the floor and just roll onto that right hip as much as feels available. So maybe your left leg kind of lifts up and stacks on top of your right. Maybe you take those left toes and touch the floor behind you. Just stretch through the front of that right shoulder. Have some activity happening in that right hand as you push your fingertips into the floor. And take some deep breath here. And come back onto your belly. And we'll just do the same thing on the other side. So you're going to take that left arm and make a 90-degree angle with it on the floor. So your elbow's right in line with your shoulder. And often people want their elbow lower. They think it's 90 degrees. So maybe scoot it up toward the top of your mat a little more. Look to your right. You can bring your right fingertips or hand to the right side of your chest and then just roll onto your left hip. Maybe you can rock and bring your right toes behind you. Maybe you just stay here and you're just rocking a little bit. You'll feel this in just your pec muscle, the front of that left shoulder. And it may be a completely different experience on this left side than it was on the right. See if you can relax and breathe here. And then rock onto your belly. Look forward. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Draw your shoulder blades toward each other. Draw your elbows toward each other. Push into your pubic bone. And then lift your head and chest. Maybe stretch your knuckles towards your feet. Lift both legs. And let the back of your neck be really long. So no wrinkles in the back of your neck. Don't crane your neck forward. Just kind of think of the crown of your head being an extension of your spine. It's just one long, graceful curve. And then release down. Make a pillow for your forehead with your hands. And then just lay here on your belly with your forehead on your hands. You can kind of wiggle your bum a little bit from side to side. Just tell your lower back and your hips to completely relax. And then focus on breathing through your lowest part of your lungs. Think about really breathing into the back side of your rib cage. Feel your belly expand against the floor. This is such a good position to practice diaphragmatic breathing in. Because of the position of your arms, your upper chest muscles are kind of compromised. They can't really participate. And think about getting space between every one of your ribs on the sides of your body. We'll just take one more breath here. And then lift your head. Just slide your hands underneath your shoulders, up onto your hands and knees. And step your right foot forward between your hands. And then just walk your hands up onto your right thigh and come up into a lunge. And we're not going to kind of lean into this lunge, turn to the side. We're just kind of 90 degrees on both sides, and find a stance that you can kind of stay here and balance for a while. So you could imagine that you've got like a line down the left side of your mat and a line down the right side of your mat. Your left knee is on the left line, your right foot is on the right line. So you're not on a tightrope here. And just interlace your fingers in front of you and then turn your palms inside out. Push your hands away and round your upper spine. Engage that left glute and kind of push that left hip forward. And just breathe there. Stretch through your upper back and let the front of that left hip stretch. And then we'll find a little bit of movement. So as you inhale, reach those clasped hands overhead, and you can kind of bend a little more into that right knee. Maybe find a little bit of a back bend. And then as you exhale, we'll back out of the lunge, engage through that left glute, and reach forward, round your back. Inhale, reach up, draw your shoulder blades together, open through that left side. You might even find a little side bend over to your right. And then inhale, back to center, exhale, fold forward, round your upper back. Engage through that left glute. Inhale back up. And pause here, find a little side bend over to your right. Come back through center. And then release your hands to your hips. I always like to work on a little bit of balance. So look at your left leg. See that your knee, your shin, your heel, and your toes are all in a line. And now we'll find our tightrope. Just toe heel that right foot in line with your left knee. And just find your balance here. Just find something to look at, your drishti. Something that's not moving. And then don't grip it with your eyes. See if your focus can be really soft. And slow and smooth breathing will completely change your experience here. And then toe heel that foot back out to the side. Just bring your right knee down and step your left foot forward. We'll find that same lunge. So we're not really deep into this lunge, just 90 degrees of both of your legs, and your back toes can be tucked or untucked. Just kind of listen to what feels comfortable for you. You can always put a blanket or something on the floor underneath your knee. Interlace your fingers and then see if you can switch that interlace to the unusual way. Turn your palms out, push forward, engage to this right glute. So you're kind of pushing this right hip forward and round your upper spine. And just pause here. So, and you might find you can wiggle a little bit, kind of shift your hips. You can shift your shoulders. Just see what stretches, what feels good and interesting to you. As we hold this position, it doesn't need to be totally rigid. You can find a little fluidity there. Just kind of explore the nooks and crannies. And then we'll find some movement. So as you inhale, you might rock forward into that knee. Find a little sense of a back bend. Reach forward and then exhale. Engage that right glute and push your palms forward. And then inhale, open. Maybe this time you find a little side bend to your left. Come back through center and then push those hands forward. And then reach up. Maybe find that little tiny side bend. Come back through center. Push forward again. Reach up. And then just release your hands to your hips. Come back to that 90-90 and see that your knee, your right knee, shin, heel, and toes are all in a line. Find your drishti, so a spot on the floor or the wall. Just toe heel that left heel so it comes in line with your right knee. Relax through your shoulders and just let go of any judgment. Right. So you are just playing with your balance here. Just noticing what little muscles work. Noticing what feeling off balance does to your breath. And then intentionally smoothing and calming your breath down. Letting your gaze be soft. And then we'll go ahead and toe heel that left foot to the left. And then take it back. Now, stack your hands behind your back. So I'll show you just one palm on top of the other at your lower back. Draw those elbows together, and then you can sit your hips onto your knees and then just fold forward into a child's pose here with your hands on your back, and then let your elbows relax toward the floor. As you inhale, you're going to come up to a standing kneel and just reach your right arm up alongside your ear. Exhale, fold forward back into that child's pose. Bring your hand back to your lower back and then look to the left. Inhale, come to your standing kneel and sweep your left arm alongside your ear. As you exhale, fold back, bring your left hand to your lower back and look to your right. Go back and forth one more time. Inhale, come to a standing kneel, sweep your right arm up. Exhale, fold right hand to your lower back, look to your left. Inhale, sweep that left arm up. Exhale, fold, bring your left hand back and look to your right. Bless you. And then just come up to seated and swing your legs out in front of yourself. I'm going to take, I think I'll mirror you. So take your right shin in 90 degrees in front of you and then your left out to the side. So, and this left hip will probably come up off the floor. That's fine. Okay. And kind of flex through your feet and lift through your spine. And bring your left hand behind you and just kind of twist toward that left leg a little bit. And now we'll twist to the right. So plant your right hand behind you and just take your left arm. You're going to swim it high, back, and then just peel yourself open. You can keep that right hand behind you. And then as you reach, maybe kind of reach up toward a diagonal high and then come back. And then swim back around, maybe reach toward the floor a little more. And just move with your breath. Doesn't matter what pace you go. You don't need to do it the same rhythm I am. Kind of think of reaching from your upper back between your shoulder blades as you reach around. And then the next time you get twisted back, you can use that left hand to maybe grab onto your right tricep. Look over that right shoulder. Find a comfortable place for your neck and a place that kind of feels like a nice stretch. And then unwind yourself and just clasp your hands or bring your hands to your heart here. And then we'll just find some dynamic twists using your core. So twist toward your left leg and then twist past your right. And you can use your hands if you need to, or you can float them and try to just use your core here. Just kind of explore what's happening in your hips. And then we'll face that right shin and just walk yourself into a fold over your right knee. So you may just bring your hands to the floor here. You may be able to bend and bring your forearms to the floor. And just relax and stretch through that right outer hip. And breathe through your belly. You could relax your neck and let your head hang. And then walk your hands back towards your shin. You're going to take your right arm out to the right and maybe bring your forearm to the floor. We'll find a quad stretch here. So lift that left leg. You can reach for your left ankle and just find a quad stretch. Yep. Hi. Engage through your left glute. You can feel that. Do you feel that in your quad? And then release. Come up to seated and find a cross-legged pose. So left leg, left shin in front. And then bring your left arm out to the side and reach your right arm over. You can find a side bend here. And then bend that right elbow and just bring it to the back of your head and kind of lean back. And then maybe bend your elbow toward the floor. We're just going to hang out here. Find space between every rib on that side. And then come back up to center. And do all that on the other side. So left knee and shin forward and right leg back. So you working at 90 degrees, bend in both of your knees. So my right femur is parallel to my left shin, okay? And then you can try to twist toward that back leg for a second. And then ground your left hand behind you, twist that way, and just start finding those reaches with your right arm. And then peel yourself open, and then reach maybe up to the diagonal and back, and maybe down. And your hand can be on fingertips, could be on a fist, maybe hand flat on the ground, just whatever works for you. So you're getting kind of into that quad. Think of reaching from your lower back. And this time as you reach back, you could use that right hand to grab onto your left tricep and just twist here. And breathe into your belly. And then unwind yourself. And you can have your hands on the floor. Maybe bring your hands to your heart. You can just hold onto your fists and just use your core and twist back and forth. Just really think of it happening, this twist happening from your belly. And there's going to be some movement in this back hip too. You can use your glute to kind of ground toward the floor and then rock away. And then we'll find our forward fold here. So just let yourself fold over that left shin or knee. And just enjoy your breath here. Let your head relax and your face relax. And if if you're not getting a whole lot of sensation, you could walk over to your left some more. Just kind of listen to what's interesting in your body. And see if you can find some fluidity here with your breath. You can think about how your body is made mostly of water. And just let that water fill this container that you're in. And just take up all the space. And we'll walk our hands towards your shin and find that quad stretch. So you'll bring your left hand to the floor, maybe left forearm to the floor. Just lift up that right leg, grab your ankle, and you can kind of push your hand into your foot and your foot into your hand. Stretch through that quad. And we'll come up and find an easy cross-legged seat with your right shin in front this time. And we'll find that side bend. Let's see, I'll scoop back over to your right. So bring your right hand out and then left arm alongside your ear and then bend that elbow and just lean your head back into your hand and kind of wrap those right ribs up toward the ceiling. Maybe you bend more into your elbow. Try to keep that left hip grounded down to the floor. And breathe space. And really like hold the weight of your head with your hands. And then let yourself come all the way up. Take the right leg long and bring your left foot to your right inner thigh. As you inhale, reach your arms long and flex through that right foot and really push it away from you. So get that right leg as straight as you can. As you exhale, you can bend into that right knee and just let yourself round over your leg. We're going to move with our breath there. So inhale to straighten your legs, straighten your spine, and reach up. Exhale, bend into your knee and let yourself just fold and round. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, you can bend and fold. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale, bend and fold. Bring your hands to the floor and then inhale to just lengthen your spine forward. And now as you exhale, you can bring your leg a little straighter. And just do it one breath at a time. And let yourself fold here any amount. We'll just hold. You might even take your left hand and reach for your outer right foot or calf. Reach with your heart. And just let yourself stretch through that right leg. And then inhale yourself up. You're going to take your left hand behind you. You can come on your fist or your palm. And then we're going to come up onto this right shin. You're going to lift your hips and then just lengthen through your right side. Push into that right heel. Reach out through your right fingertips. And then lower your hips down. Stretch through your left leg. Bend your right knee and bring it to your inner thigh. Reach your arms high and just get straight through your arms, straight through your spine, straight through that left leg. Really push through that left leg. Inhale, and then exhale. You can bend your knee and let yourself fold. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Exhale, bend and fold. Inhale, lengthen and reach high. Exhale, bend and fold, and then bring your hands to the floor and just pause here. Inhale to let your spine get longer. And as you exhale, maybe your leg comes a little bit straighter, but really think of reaching your heart forward as you fold. And just take it one breath at a time. Spine gets longer, maybe your leg gets a little straighter. Maybe you take that right hand outside your left calf or ankle or foot. But don't worry, don't really think about too much of getting your head to your knee. think more of lengthening your heart forward and pushing your sitting bones back behind you. And think of pushing your inner thigh, that left inner thigh, toward the floor. And then inhale yourself up. Plant that right hand behind you. And then lift your hips, rock onto your right shin. Sweep your left arm up alongside your ear. It's one long line from your left heel out through your fingertips. And then go ahead and come down. Release your arms and straighten out both of your legs. You can shake them out a little bit. And then bend both of your knees, bring your feet flat to the floor, and then bring your hands to the floor behind you, about a foot behind your hips. Draw your shoulder blades together. You can be on fists. You can have your fingers out to the side. Just find a place that's comfortable for your wrists. And then lift your hips up off the floor and just stretch through your arms here. You could let your head hang back in this reverse table. And then drop your hips to the floor. And then you can lower down onto your forearms. And then come all the way down onto your back here on the floor with knees bent, with your feet flat on the floor. And let your feet be hip distance apart. Okay. And inhale, lift your hips up off the floor and swim your right arm up overhead. The back of your hand come to the floor above you. And then exhale, lower everything back to where you started. And then turn your head to look to the left. Bring your head through center. Inhale, lift both hips and lift your left arm all the way overhead. Let the back of your hand come to the floor above you. As you exhale, come back to where you started. Hips down, left hand by your side, and then roll your head to look to the right. Inhale, head to center. Lift your hips from your right arm up all the way. Back of your hand overhead. Exhale, lower your hips. Right hand comes back down and turn your head to look to the left. Inhale, head to center. Lift both hips from your left arm up. Exhale, lower all the way down. Turn your head to look to the right. Inhale, head through center. Lift your hips up, swim your right arm. Exhale, lower all the way down. Look to your left. Last round of that. Inhale, lift your hips, swim your left arm up. Exhale, lower down and look to your right. And then just bring your head towards center. Wiggle your shoulder blades together. You can grab onto the outer edges of your mat and really push your triceps to the floor. Push into your hips and then lift your hips up into a bridge. Just let your gaze be straight up at the ceiling. You can stay here, or you could wiggle your shoulder blades closer to each other. Maybe interlace your fingers underneath your back. Just gonna pause here and breathe. And think of breathing in 3 parts. Inhale and let your belly expand, let your rib cage expand into your collarbones. And then exhale, collarbones, rib cage, belly. Inhale, belly, rib cage, collarbones. Exhale, collarbones, rib cage, belly. Release your hands. Make your way back to the floor. Take your feet as wide as your mat, or maybe even a little bit wider, and then let your knees just knock together. And just breathe here. And then let your knees come apart. I'm just gonna windshield wiper knees from side to side. So drop your right knee toward your left heel. So just drop your knees over to the left. Come back through center and then drop left knee toward right heel. And just go back and forth. Drop your knees over to the left and just pause here. It may feel good just to take your left heel and stack it on top of your right knee and just kind of get some more leverage so you get that internal rotation of that right femur. Let your chest open and maybe even let your gaze go over to your right. Just a really easy, simple twist. Let yourself have lots of space to breathe. And if you've got that heel stacked on your knee, just take it off and then swim your knees over to the other side and pause. And you can take your right knee and just stack it on top of your your right heel, stack it on top of your left knee. Look to your left. And release that. Just bring your legs back up to center. And find a comfortable place for your legs. Maybe either you like knees bent, feet flat on the floor, or legs long. Just want you to pretend like you're a little kid laying on in the snow and just swim your arms in snow angel shape. And you can kind of let your hands float off the floor a little bit. Just kind of swim. And then take your right knee, hug your right knee into your chest. Just interlace your fingers kind of just below your knee and really compress your lower belly on your right side. As you exhale, lift your head and chest up off the floor and bring your chin. Can you even see what I'm doing? Chin towards your knee. And then lower down, use your left hand to take that right knee over into a twist. And then come back through center. Hug your knee, lift your head and chest, nose to knee. And then release and draw that knee over to your left. One last time. Just hug that knee, nose to knee. Lower down, open that right arm out. Let your left knee come over. And you can just let that foot relax anywhere that it goes. And then for a few breaths, just let that right hand float maybe an inch off the floor and find snow angel shapes with your right arm. So let that right bicep come up by your ear and then swim it down so that your right pinky comes down by your hip. Just kind of stretch through that shoulder. And then you can find a place where it feels good just to leave that arm and let it rest on the floor. Maybe let your gaze go toward that right hand. And then come through center. Lengthen that right leg on the floor. Hug your left knee into your chest. With an exhale, knee to nose. Release down and then use your right hand to draw that knee over to your right. Look to your left. Inhale through center. Hug that knee. And then release and twist. Right, left knee to your right. Come through center. Hug that knee. Knee to nose. And then lower down and pause here. You can let that left arm just float off the floor and then swim it in those snow angel shapes. And after a few of those, just find a place to rest your arm. You can look to the left. Kind of think of lengthening the space from your left armpit to your left outer hip. And then rock onto your back. Bring both knees into your chest. And let your head lay down on the floor. You can just bring your hands to your knees and just steer your knees in circles one direction. And then steer your knees in circles the other direction. And then find one last squeeze of your knees. You can just stay there. You could reach for your outer feet and find a happy baby pose. And then make your way to your final relaxation. So if you feel like you need to put on your sweater or your socks or find a folded blanket to be a pillow under your head, do that. Just find what you need. And then bring your hands together in front of your heart. Just rub your hands till your palms get warm. And then take your warm palms and just bring them to your eyes and just close out all the light. Really let your eyes relax into their sockets. Let your brain feel heavy in your skull. Relax your jaw. You could use your fingers in your hairline or on your forehead or in your temples to give yourself a little massage. You can move your hands off your eyes. Maybe massage the sides of your jaw. You can push your ears closed or pull out all along the edges of your ears. Rake your fingers down the sides of your throat, knead out the back of your neck. And then completely let go of that effort. Just let your arms go long on your sides, palms face up. Just feel yourself relax into the floor. Notice how your breath just breathes itself without any effort on your part. Completely relax your face, your eyes, the root of your tongue. Let your jaw feel slack. And continually relax your face more and more. And just let the rest of your body be a mirror of the relaxation in your face. So as you find little pockets of tension in your forehead or your temples or the back of your neck, just let yourself relax that and notice how the rest of your body relaxes further. Just notice how safe and held you are right now. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. It can be good to relax in this Shavasana pose for 15 or 20 minutes. Just with awareness of your breath, letting your body completely let go. If you only had the hour, You can start to find little wiggles in your fingers and toes, maybe rock your head from side to side. Take a deep breath in and stretch your arms overhead. You can bend your knees. And then rock to one side. Use your upper arm as a pillow for a breath or two. And then use your hands to push your way up to a comfortable seat. When you get there, bring your hands together in front of your heart and just close your eyes. Just feel the quality of the energy in your body right now. And that you created this with your attention and with your movement. It's always available to you. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste, friends. Thank you, honey. Enjoy, everyone. Hope you sleep tight.